Hello, everyone. How you doing? FujoCon 2021. Whoa!
Hey, FujoCon!
Oh, man. We see all of you in the comments and chatting away on Twitch. So thank you so much for joining us. We've loved interacting with you all throughout this weekend. And oh, man, we have a really fun panel. I think that this is going to be a really fun conversation. Curating and Uplifting, featuring Rotten Blossoms and Yaoi Crate. My name is Tyler from Yaoi Crate, and I'm joined by the amazing Beverly from Rotten Blossoms. Beverly, how excited are you for FujoCon 2021?
Oh man, I've been trying so hard to stay up so I can watch all the panels. I was also in the Scarlet Ridicule panel because I'm not missing that just because I'm supposed to be over here talking to you.
Right. That's fair. Fair. Nice. Yeah, and I mean, the hours must be so difficult because for those that don't know, Beverly is like not in America. So wow, kudos to you for staying up and trying to catch all these panels, huh?
And, I'm sure it's pretty late into the night when we're doing all of this stuff too. So great for you.
Yeah. And everybody who's internationally joining us around the world, thank you so much for coming to our panel and hanging out with us. This is going to be really, really exciting. So yeah, I want to kind of dive in here and talk about what we're going to actually be discussing today. So curating and uplifting, obviously, for those of you who don't know, Yaoi Crate and Rotten Blossoms, we've been working together for so long. And we wanted to highlight and really talk about how Yaoi Crate and Rotten Blossoms coming together is helping spread BL love through boys love BL love throughout the entire world through our collaborations and our partnerships. So I think this is going to be really, really fun, and it's going to give a kind of behind the scenes look at both of what our companies do.
Yes. You're so good at this talking thing. I'm just going to sit here and listen to you.
Oh my gosh, stop. Thank you. I even put on chapstick for this. So to kind of get to know us a little bit better, I thought that we could introduce ourselves, starting with you, Beverly.
So hi, for those of you who don't know me, I am the CEO of Rotten Blossoms, and my name is Beverly Maynor. By day, I translate mostly porn, and by night, I also translate porn. It's mostly for women, but the stuff for men does tend to pay me to be able to make other things for either the wonderful LGBT community that is here, or just for the women who love reading BL as well. We're just, shout out to everybody who is here for the BL, basically. I think that's mostly my introduction. I'm not super big on taking a very big professional approach, so if you want to read through the slide, you'll kind of get an idea of what I normally talk like.
Very well done. Very well done. And for me, my name is Tyler. I'm the co-creator and CEO of Yaoi Crate. So for those of you who don't know, Yaoi Crate is the only monthly BL lifestyle crate featuring officially licensed BL merchandise, goods, manga, doujin, and so much more. I've worked at major anime and manga companies, including Digital Manga Inc. and Crunchyroll. And yeah, I mean, the three part-time Yaoi Crate employees, we've packed and shipped nearly 2,400 Yaoi Crates all over the world to all these happy Fujin. Many of you who are here in the audience today, so thank you so much if you are a Yaoi Crate subscriber. And yeah, you can oftentimes find me shoving food in my face and watching sumo wrestling. So that's me.
It's a good life.
Yeah.
Good life right there.
I try. So yeah, let's dive into a little bit more of our agenda. So we're going to kind of be talking about mostly these topics here. What's the difference between working with self-published artists versus mainstream publishers at Yaoi Crate? The development of the items that actually go into Yaoi Crate, how working with Yaoi Crate and Rotten Blossoms and how our partnership impacts the artists in Japan who are making so many of these great stories and all this artwork that we all love. And we might even give you a little bit of a sneak peek as to what we have coming up in our next Yaoi Crate Rotten Blossoms partnership, which I'm very excited for. So, to kick things off, Beverly, I wanted us to kind of really dive in here and talk about what is the difference between working with self-published artists versus mainstream publishers, at least on the Yaoi Crate side, right? And to start off with, I wanted to kind of ask you and throw the ball out to you first. You're Rotten Blossoms is primarily focused on BL doujins, right?
Yes.
Why did you want to focus on doujins and doujinshi? And for those who might not know, what is a doujin or a doujinshi, and why is it so important to the BL community?
Right. So for us, obviously, doujinshi, we'll start there. So a doujinshi, the shi part of it is just mainly like it means magazine or book. So that's super simple and easy to understand. But if you go into the doujin side of it, it basically means same person or like-mindedness. So it's a lot like fan fiction where it's created for a certain group of people who just prefer this type of like story. So the big difference when it comes to working with doujin artists or working with people or mainstream publishers is that the self-published artist, like the main goal isn't to be selling like 5,000 copies of this one story. It's for the small select group of people who enjoy this type of like kink or like teasing story of what some sort. And if it sells a lot, great, that could mean like really great things for them, especially when it comes to originals. But when you're working with a mainstream publisher, obviously the very first thing that you're going to have to be worrying about is low cost, high return.
Right.
And as great as it would be to have high return, I mean, I wouldn't complain about having lots of money, not gonna lie. Sure. Our main goal is to produce something high quality that's more of a small lot.
Got it. Wow. And were you a fan of like doujin and the entire community before you decided you wanted to start Rotten Blossoms?
Oh, of course. I mean, I already had a long list of people to talk to before I even started creating or filling out the wonderful tax forms.
Yeah.
To become a company.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Yes.
God. And I think that's something that's so important, especially when we were, talking about starting Yaoi Crate, was we didn't want it to just be mainstream publishers that we were working with. We wanted to also ensure that we were, highlighting these artists who are making so many fun stories. Like, I often find myself loving doujins more than, the kind of stuff that's on market, right? The things that are being mass produced and shipped out, the manga and the stories that are being, widely consumed, mostly because you get such a diverse like storyline, right?
Right.
It's not
there's so many things you can test out and try.
Yeah, exactly. You're not trying to appeal to a wide audience. You're really trying to service so many different things, and it's really, really cool. And I think the personal connection that you're able to make with the artist through doujin is so exciting, right? And I imagine you've got to feel that all the time too when you're working with them one-on-one.
Oh, all the time. Like, it's really interesting to see how different artists, like how involved they want to be in the process as well. Obviously in our contract, we promised to tell them if there's any sort of difference or like localization wise, like we changed this word and this is why, and like we think this would work, but ultimately we still leave it up to the artist to make the official choice. So it's kind of that's something we wouldn't ever get to do as a mainstream publisher. I've been in bigger manga companies where it's just get it done, get it out. Sadly, but it's really cool stuff, especially when you get to learn a lot, especially about the mangaka and like their families and like how they normally live their lives. It's really great.
So wholesome. I love that. Well, one of the cool things that we get to bring our Yaoi Crate subscribers through our partnership is really the exclusive print of these doujin that Rotten Blossoms is just publishing digitally. Is that right? So
yes,
you all publish them digitally primarily, and then by working with Yaoi Crate, we're able to bring the physical copies to customers.
Right.
That's so fun and so exciting. Something that I really like because I've always been a fan of really physical merch, and getting that
I love kind of physical books.
Yeah, getting to like hold it,
I wish I could print every single thing.
yeah. Well, we could talk about that too. How come we don't see more doujins or these independently produced stories? How come we don't see them being printed and widely distributed, at least through the West? Is it a distribution thing, or is it just something that maybe the artist doesn't want to have out there?
Depends. It can vary widely, but basically, you've been working with us over the last year, and one thing that hit us super hard, like the second we put out our first print book, really sadly, was of course COVID. For those of you who don't order from Japan regularly or don't internationally ship from here for a while, the international shipping has been an issue for a good solid year and a half at this point. It's been a struggle. So we've wanted to definitely like print more and get them over to America, but the big major issue is getting the international shipping. Normally the way that we would do it is media mail, which is a special type of way that you can ship that's just for books or like heavy things, and books are heavy, even dojin. Like if you're shipping like 20 of them, they're hefty.
Yeah, they add up.
Yeah. So that was definitely like the biggest major issue that we've been having when it comes to possibly making a print. And Yaoi Crate like swooped in and saved the day and, you know, put us in a princess carry.
I
Haruki
love that.
with his beautiful strong arms.
Bless Haruki. For folks who don't know, Haruki-kun is the Yaoi Crate mascot. He's the one who delivers every single one of your packages. So if you ever get a Yaoi Crate, it's from him, not from us, not from USPS. He personally delivers it to you. So yeah, you can thank him. He couldn't be here today, unfortunately. He's busy doing other Yaoi Crate stuff. So
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, and I see in the comments, Josh from Jelly's World, amazing BL YouTuber, and I would highly recommend that anybody go out and check out their channel. But you know,
did we lose Tylor? Or am I lost? Oh, what's going on? Hey guys, so while we're doing the great fun tech issues, I will chat to you guys, see what's up. As always, online cons are always a wonderful try and deal with all the tech issues. So I am happy to sit here and chat with you all. And of course, my mouse now dies with perfect timing. But I'm happy to sit here and chat to you guys. How many people here came out to see us yesterday? Heck yeah! Glad you guys came. Glad you guys saw the awesome announcements. We're always happy to have people. We felt really special when, like, I didn't get to like look at the number a lot, but I saw it went over 100, and then I was like, I can't believe 100 people are listening to me talk. And then I realized, oh yeah, 100 people are listening to the sexy boys talk, so that's great. Yes, and those who came to the YouTube session to watch Dayon Sakura Drive, or Draw Live, thank you very much. That was super great. We actually got the art from Sakura from that as well, so we're thinking about where we can use that. We haven't come up with something quite yet, but we're thinking of something. Maybe we'll print something. That'd be nice. Well, if you haven't heard, we just put out a new print as well, which was going to come up at the end of this, but might as well talk about it now since I'm on my own. I'll go ahead and just tweet that out in case you guys have not seen. We have a new Neo Mabo. I cannot talk today. Neo Mabu Dojin ready for you. And it's in print. We printed it in Japan. We were just talking about how awful we've been having to trying to deal with all of the shipping internationally. We finally figured out a way. So we're super excited for it to get to you all. The cover is super nice. It's a nice like art paper, and it's got a matte finish. Heck yeah. Oh yeah, and it's like full of sex too. I guess we should talk about that. Who doesn't like having sexy times? Behind the scenes and figuring out printing. That sounds like an awesome idea. Zat Cracker? Zcat Cracker? One of those two, probably. So for printing, I can't talk much about the printing in America. I think we are going to talk about it a little bit later in this presentation. But printing in Japan is super, super nice. We get like all of the options and everything that like, obviously it's been an art form that's been like built up and perfected here in Japan over the years. So like, even when you're making a tiny little like lot print of maybe 20 books, you can get some really fancy stuff for it. It's super nice. CEO, because I filed the tax forms. Yes. Yeah. So when it comes to the day-to-day like doings of Rotten Blossoms, basically the question is not what do I do, it's what don't I do, which basically boils down to lettering. So it's a lot of when you email, it's probably me. When you see a tweet, it's probably me. Sadly, we've got one other somewhat full-time. Like, we don't really have full-time because there's not enough work to go around to go full-time 100%. But we do have one other person who helps out mostly on a daily basis. Let's see. Andrea, I see your question about deciding which doujin or manga gets selected, and that's coming up a little bit later. And Boys Love Party, thank you for always ordering. I definitely appreciate it. I've memorized your name at this point. Tylor, yay!
So sorry. Mercury retrograde. Am I right? Anybody else believe in that? Because I used to be a staunch, like, no, that's not a thing. But now I'm like, oh man. Yeah, anyway, so sorry. My computer was like, hey, we have to restart right now, Tylor. So I'm like, great, thank you. So sorry. What did I miss while I share the slides here?
We did a little bit of chatting about like what's it like to print in Japan.
Oh, nice.
And the woes of international shipping, and how I touched on how we finally figured out a way.
There we go, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me present this. And can you guys see that?
I see it. Woohoo.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, righty. So yeah, where were we, Beverly? We were like in the middle of a really good thought there.
I think we were talking about how the shipping was a huge issue, and you swooped in and swept us off our feet.
Yeah, no, this is fantastic. And yeah, I mean, is it, at least from the perspective of the publisher who's, in the weeds kind of, if you will, with the artists, is it possible for people in the West to get these doujin without like a service like Yaoi Crate, and if so, is it really difficult? How does that kind of work?
I mean, as far as I know, the best way to do it is through a proxy service. I think Booth may allow international shipping. The biggest hurdle there is when it comes to buying these books, especially when you're trying to buy directly from the author, is that a lot of authors don't want their address on a box going to this X random person overseas.
Right.
Which is an understandable worry.
Yeah, no.
It's also why we tend to lean on you when it comes to like shipping in America. Not only do you have the awesome like shipping discount that is coming from being a business who ships a lot, I don't have a return address in America, and if I did, I don't know how many people I would want to know that address.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see somebody mentioned in the comments the whole proxy thing as well. I've just being a fan for as long as we have been, in this fandom, it's kind of you have to at some point broach the topic of proxies, right? And it's how I get all of my tickets to the concerts that I go to in Japan. You have to have somebody there who can swoop in and get those for you. And if I can just give a shout out to all of the proxies, all of our proxy friends in the world, thank you for keeping us going for so long. But anyway, yeah. So another really fun and big difference, I think, at least from the Yaoi Crate side of working with self-published artists versus mainstream publishers, is the fact that we get truly custom and exclusive artwork. And it's a lot easier from the self-published artists versus the mainstream publishers. What is that process like? Do the artists that you work with, do they really like being able to create these like custom pieces, or would they rather, that not be a thing? Like, what are their thoughts on this?
I would say you would hardly ever find an artist in America or even Japan, or I don't care where they are. It's hard to find an artist that does not take commissions.
Yeah, sure.
Nobody is angry about getting a commission.
Right. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I've loved working with Rotten Blossoms, is because we're able to. I'm just going to gush here for a second. I love Haruki. When the first time that we saw him, we worked with a studio in Singapore that does a lot of like anime style character design, and they created him. And the first time that I saw him, I was so excited. And the fact that you were able to coordinate for us, getting Haruki his own little one shot at the end of Fairy Tale on the Cliff, and like having him be included in that little acrylic keychain. Spoilers for folks who haven't opened the February Yaoi Crate. I think it is. I think it's the February.
Yeah, I think it's
one.
February.
Yeah, because we did like a whole theme thing. I know Josh, you're in the comments, and I'm so sorry if we just spoiled it, but yeah, it's great. So yeah, I love having the ability to plug Haruki in, because it kind of gives that personal touch where it's like we're not just getting a bunch of items and throwing them in a crate. We're like we're actually working together to do some really fun stuff. Yeah, and I don't know. Do you like being able to do that kind of thing, facilitating that kind of process? I imagine has to be fun and creative for you as well as the artists. Yeah, it's
pretty fun. The one complaint I would have is that I need you to give me dimensions and pixels.
Yeah,
give me a DPI.
Yeah, always.
Yes.
And I think probably what a lot of people are thinking who are watching this right now. Is how does this partnership between Yaoi Crate and Rotten Blossoms, how does that really benefit the artists, who's doing this really hard work, right? I can't draw to save my life. Like I need, that old joke where it's like, oh, I need a ruler to make a stick figure. I can't even do that. So, bless to all of the amazing artists, but how does this partnership really help those artists back in Japan who are, doing all these great things?
I'd say the coolest thing that we get to do when we work with a Yaoi Crate is that the first thing we do is we write to the artist and we send them an email and we're like, we're doing another Yaoi Crate. Do you want to join? And then the ones that are like, yeah, I want to join, we get to go like, what do you want to make? And how much do you want for it? Like they get to tell us how much money they want, which is probably not something that they would get to do very often. I would think.
Right. No, absolutely. And that's why, it's really important. When we started out Yaoi Crate, we were like, it has to be 100% officially licensed. That has always been something that we've been very, very adamant about. And I see Starfruit Books, Matt over there is in the comments as well. Another amazing partner that we've been working with, who, we see so many people in the West who are doing this great work, bringing over these official items, these official stories, and really supporting the artists. And I think that's something that's really, really important, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's dive into our next topic. Developing the items for Yaoi Crate. I don't think it would be shocking to a lot of people to think that, this is my favorite part. Like, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised to be like, oh no, what, you don't like? No, I love when we actually get to sit down and like plan and figure out what we can put in these items. So when it comes to Rotten Blossoms,
organizing is my heaven.
It's just like when we were making this PowerPoint and everything, Beverly and I are very much like have you ever been on like a group project and there's only one person doing the work? That's mine and Beverly's personalities, but now we get to do it together. And anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to actually creating the items that go into the Yaoi Crate, on the Rotten Blossom side, what is that process like? You kind of touched on it a little bit more, a little bit before, but can you go into a little more detail as to what that conversation is like with the artists? We know that subscription boxes are not a very big thing, if at all, in Japan. And do you see any kind of like hurdles, or have you seen any kind of hurdles trying to explain that business model?
Step one is we send them this really ridiculously long email that explains exactly what a Yaoi Crate is.
Cool.
I have it saved because I'm tired of typing it. But yeah, it's probably, if you were looking at a Word document, it's about like a page and a half worth of details explaining how like what a subscription like thing is, and like generally like what the feeling is when you get one, what's supposed to be the enjoyment factor of it from one. It's definitely not something that you see very often in Japan, and a lot of them are like, I don't really get that part. And so what we often do is we'll link to creators who have opened their boxes on YouTube, etc.
Nice.
And especially Dylan, because Dylan's reaction was amazing. If you guys haven't, like, if you have not seen that amazing video by Dylan where he's just like, I can fix him when he's talking about Kuga, it killed Sakurai.
So hey, if you make a Yaoi Crate unboxing video, the artist might be seeing it.
Yes, the likelihood of me sending the video of it is very high.
Yeah. I love
so
that.
After, we explain to them what a Yaoi Crate is, we do go about being like, do you have any goods that you want to make? Or like, if they have a book that they've recently sent to us, we're like, would you want to delay the release of this book and make it specifically for the Yaoi Crate and just have the print and the digital come out at the same time when we can? And a lot of artists, honestly, like especially when it comes to doujin artists, they don't make what is it? They don't make goods so much.
Oh, okay.
So it's a new thing for them when they're like, oh, well, like it'd be really great to make goods. I've never made goods before. This happened with Pudding's author as well when it comes for the May crate that should be shipping soon, right?
Yeah, they're being packed as I speak.
Right. She was just all like, well, I've never like actually used Design Studio, but I've always wanted to try. So if you're okay with the fact that like I've never done it before, and we're like, go for it. We're here to support you however we can.
Awesome. I love that. So it's really trying to, a lot of artists are excited by it and they see it as somewhat of like expanding their kind of talent. Is that right? Like, trying new things that they wouldn't have been able to try before.
Right.
Nice. I love that. I didn't even know that. And I'm like, heartwarming. I mean, yeah, from the Yaoi Crate like perspective, having the artists that intimately involved really does contribute to our mission of making access to BL merch and BL goods accessible for all, and in a way that ensures the ultimate collaboration for their artwork is really directly with the artist. Like, obviously getting as close to the source as possible is something that I love doing. And being able to say, yeah, we got to have this very intimate conversation with the actual artists themselves. And they were the ones that brought these ideas over to us. I mean, I loved every item that we are putting into the May Yaoi Crate that's shipping out. Pudding is amazing. And just the items are no spoilers, but the items are really, really cool. So I'm excited for that. And and for the Yaoi Crate side, I mean, once we have those ideas kind of all finalized and put together, we'll go out to our team of vendors that we've put together and we'll work with them to see how we can make them, how we can bring that artist's vision, to reality. And I think that's probably one of the most exciting things. But anybody who's worked in this industry, Beverly, I think will feel our pain, not our pain, right? But understand this process of approvals, right?
Yes.
The very fun process of approvals. So for folks who don't know, especially from the publisher side, can you talk about what that is and kind of why is that important?
So obviously, you've got the cost of goods and then the type of goods, which is mostly that's on your side.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about it quite so much.
Mhm.
But then we have the fun thing that everyone loves talking about, which is what about the dick?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a very drawn out and wonderful process that is between me and like Tylor, like I don't know how many emails that we send out forever per dick.
Yeah. So many, because we have to, right? For folks who don't know, Beverly, give us a rundown of what the censorship laws are like in Japan. What is the holdup when it comes to talking about dicks?
Right. So in Japan, the rules are that, you cannot show any adult areas. Like, even when it comes to like adult videos, they have to like pixelate it. And then obviously, when it comes to yaoi manga, there's the bars or the lightsaber. And in Rotten Blossom's case, like when it comes down to it, when you're working with a lot of self-published artists, is like if those are the rules from the start and the get-go, and like obviously they're not like, I'm gonna make an English version and put it out in America, so this isn't a problem. A lot of times the artists just don't draw it.
Yeah.
And the ones that do draw it, some of them are very detailed and lovely. And like, if you have not downloaded like 7mm books, she has the prettiest dicks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We stand.
but it mostly comes down to, in our case, to like if the artist has drawn them or not, if they feel like drawing them for an English version, and if they don't, then we don't like draw it for them. We just release it without the dick.
Right. Yeah, that's something that we often, go back and forth on. Is we would love, at least, since we are a Western subscription box, trying to get Western goods or, goods out to a Western audience. We're always, thinking about if we can get the uncensored version for Yaoi Crate. Obviously, we're going to try and get that. And we would love that, mostly because it's what a lot of our fans and what a lot of our subscribers are used to. But it's also because it gives the artist the ability to do something that they've not been able to do in Japan. And I think that's something that's really important, is trying to expand and give opportunity as much as we can. And so at any opportunity that we can, we will definitely choose to have the dicks in the books as uncensored as they can be. And
right,
we've done a pretty good job.
What type of hoop? What type of hoop do you have to jump through to make that happen? Tell us, Tylor.
So Yaoi Crate almost didn't happen because we couldn't find a US printer who would be willing to print books with uncensored penises in them. It just was not a thing that we would get. We sent out so many emails, had one-on-one meetings with so many great vendors, and we were like, hey, okay, great. And they were so excited. They're like, yeah, let's do it. And then, we would show them the files and they're like, ooh, we don't print that kind of material. So, okay, thanks, bye. And it was just like, no, wait, what? So it was quite the process. And I remember one moment that really stood out in my head, Beverly, early on, was sending that frantic email to you being like, hey, so we can't find a printer to print the Dojin. Yeah. What are we going to do? But luckily, we did find a printer, and we found a new printer as well. This one that we're using and that we did use for the Let's Start with Pudding manga that's coming out in the May Yaoi Crate is the industry one. This is the one that if you buy manga in the West, that publisher probably like 9 times out of 10 probably uses this printer. So it's really, really cool to be able to say that, we are bringing over, these stories, these independently published stories, and we are using the same printers that your favorite mainstream publisher is using. And I think that's really, really cool. And they have no problem printing the dicks. So
yes.
I love that. Yeah. And of course, going back to the approval process, for folks who don't know, a lot of the times the artists want to be able to have a sign off, right, on their kind of on what is being printed with their artwork, right? How important is that to the artist, Beverly?
I would say that it is 90% of the reason that people who aren't in a Yaoi Crate are like, I don't know about that.
Right.
It's really, really hard to be like, leave the entire printing process to these random people that you barely know, that we barely know, that are across the pond. We're not going to be able to check it before it's in people's hands.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably the biggest hurdle that we have when we're trying to get people who want their books in a Yaoi Crate into a Yaoi Crate if they have the 18 plus content.
Right. Well, we've loved everybody that we've worked with so far, and we can't thank them enough for, taking that chance on Yaoi Crate. And I think that we've been able to do some really, really fun stuff. So let's move on to probably something that I think is the most important in this conversation, is what is the actual impact on the artist here? And Beverly, this is a conversation that I'm going to lean entirely on you, because you're the one interacting with them every day. You're the
Right.
one who has that direct contact with them. What has been, the impact on them, and why do they keep coming back to us?
Yeah, so obviously when they work with Rotten Blossoms, they get the plus of the no cost, no risk return, even if the English version isn't profitable, like that version. But when you work with Yaoi Crate, where we're getting to like do big lots of goods or books or anything, like that's a huge plus in not only like the monetary, like the great amount that does get to come back to them. And with Yaoi Crate's help, like Rotten Blossoms has literally sent thousands of dollars back to our artists this year, which is mind-blowing, because last year we were barely hitting 100. So thank you again, we love you.
Of course.
But I'm gonna take a little slightly dark turn here. If it's a conversation that needs to be had. Paid exposure. It's a word everyone likes, exposure, but we're going to add emphasis on paid.
Paid. Yep.
Yes. So they get paid for their work that they put time and effort into. And of course, we get a little bit for putting the time and the effort into making it English. And, they get to see these physical copies sent and like get to people's hands and like actually see the fun of them enjoying their works that they know that people paid for. So the emphasis I'm putting on the paid here is that we all really do need to have this conversation that scanlation is not helpful on any aspect of the scale, not even with doujin artists, definitely not with like officially published artists. When it comes to voice CDs, it's not helpful at all either. We're just gonna flat out say it, like scanlation, and it's not helpful. Aggregator websites are the huge problem. But if you need like an example or a full-on like data breakdown, I will tell you that we had a book stolen from us earlier this year in January, which caused me so much stress. I cannot even iterate. But the illegal version was seen over 9,000 times when we took legal action. It's still up. Thank you, MangaGo. I'm looking at you right now. Come for me. I will come for you. 9,000 times over that. And the amount that we have sold of that book is 37 copies.
Oh.
So no excuses when it comes to that. But back to the fun of the impact on the artist, like they get to enjoy all of these trying new things and getting paid for their time and their efforts of trying things. Yeah. And, still get their name out there in an enjoyable way. And they get the physical goods to enjoy too. It does take a while to get here.
Right.
But, they do get to enjoy it.
Love that. That's so exciting. I could imagine, especially, I've never done anything, to the scale of what your artists, bless them, are doing. But I gotta imagine when they see those items and they're finally, holding them physically in their hands and knowing that they went out to, 300 plus people all at the same time around the world, that's gotta be really, really exciting. And to know that it happened to them, it happened in a way that supported them, right? That's why we started Yaoi Crate, was to support the fans, support the artists, and really just get more of this amazing BL content that we've been reading for years into more people's hands. So I think that's really, really cool. Yeah. And a lot of people are asking, what the title is, Beverly. Do you want to share that?
We actually, in the one that was taken and put up on Manga Go was Incessant Fever by Iroha. So definitely go check her out 100%. She just got her first publishing debut, literally like beginning of this month. So if you can read Japanese, definitely go check her out as well.
Nice.
We have had issues in other languages as well with other artists. But that's their legal battle. I don't want to go in that one and overgo on that one. But like support all of the artists in general too, if you don't mind.
That's right. That's right. Well, Beverly, I want to leave a little bit of time for a Q&A for folks who might have a question. So I think if you're ready, we can move on to what's next for Yaoi Crate subscribers who have fallen in love with Rotten Blossoms. So we do have another partnership coming up. We're not going to say what date just yet, but what are some things that folks can, and spoiler warning, there will be a couple of spoilers as to what's going to be in that crate in this. So just mute us for a little bit and come back to the Q&A.
Let's say like 3 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Q&A comes, or when the next slide comes up, you can unmute.
Yeah. So for folks who want to know, Beverly, what are a couple of little spoilers that we can give, a little tease?
So the one thing that we will tell is that the Bori book that we just released, the main story of Psychopath and the Killer, I do believe a lot of you people who have been around since the Halloween book, Halloween, since the October Yaoi Crate, do know that Bori Hori's work was inside of that one as well. We are also going to be putting the main story of Bori's work into the Yaoi Crate. That is coming up. Yeah.
So excited. So the folks who have been subscribed since the very first Yaoi Crate that like Beverly said, happened in October last year, that story that they got in the actual box, that was like a side story, right? That was like a side one.
Yeah, like side, small, short side shorts. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. And this one is going to be the main story, right? The actual one.
Yes, you learn how they fell in love. Woohoo!
Love that. And
then one other fun tease that we can do is that we're gonna promise you lots of dicks this time. Many dicks you're not gonna know what to do with yourself.
Because we have this locked down now. We know what we're doing. I love that. Cool.
Yes.
And I hear that they're going to be, in addition to the new Bori Hori, book that's going to be in there, we're going to see some other returning artists as well. Is that right?
Yes, definitely. A lot of the people who have already been in a Yaoi Crate were super excited when we were like, actually, you know what? Maybe we should bring some people back. And they're like, yes, all of them instantly yes. So we have a couple of returning artists to look forward to.
Woo! Yeah. Okay, that's all that we'll give for now. We don't want to spoil too much. So if you're not on the Yaoi Crate email list, be sure to join so that way you know. But Beverly, we've also released something really cool just over this weekend. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about this amazing new book of yours?
Heck yes. I talked a bit while you were not with us.
All right. Yeah,
so I gave people a really quick rundown, but it is one of the tropes of, if you have not heard of the lovely trope where suddenly you get locked in a room until you do something, it's a big thing here in Japan. And so we have a Ryomabu wonderful doujinshi coming on pre-order now on Yaoi Crate's website. He's holding the book. It's a physical book. Look at it.
And I gotta tell you, the printing of this book, I've never felt a book that feels like this. You need to pre-order this. And I would be saying that even if it wasn't on Yaoi Crate's site, I would be still pre-ordering this. It is beautiful. You've got to get this. And I just love that idea of, hey, you can't leave the room until you do that thing. I love that kind of stuff. So, woohoo.
Yeah. Oh, and in case it was questionable, the XXX does stand for sex. So.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I gotcha. Alrighty. Well, we have a few minutes before people can pop off to their next panel. So any kind of questions that anybody has, feel free to drop them in the chat. And Beverly and I will try to answer them and let y'all know what we can do. Love that. And Beverly, thank you so much for taking the time to even talk with me about this. This has been
thank you.
so fun.
And thank you everybody who's been posting links for us in chat. Thank you for understanding that we're in the middle of talking. We can't really go grab the links.
Love that. So I think, yeah, Andrea? I'm gonna say Andrea. How do you choose which manga or doujin you include in the Yaoi crates? Ooh, that is something that we leave primarily up to you, Beverly, right?
Right. Normally it's generally books that when we get the offer to be in a Yaoi crate, we look at what we have planned coming up, and then we kind of have to like figure out, okay, we need to ask this artist if they can do it, because basically by the time we're asked to do a Yaoi crate, like if we don't start working on it immediately, it's not going to get done in time.
Right.
Obviously there's a printing period that is pretty hefty when it comes especially to books, even here in Japan. You need about a month, and then obviously we do need the time to make the English version as well. So generally it has to be whatever is ready.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've always loved that, because it's a little bit of a surprise for us too, where we're like, all right, Beverly, let's work together. What's the next thing? And then you come to us with these really fun titles, and I'm like, cool. I mean, and of course we read every single thing that goes into Yaoi Crate, and so we're like, okay, let's dive in and see what the story is. And I always fall in love with them too. I'm like, ooh, okay, yeah, I love that. It's a lot easier to market stuff when you're just as excited about it. So
yeah,
I think it's really cool. So let's see here. Is Yaoi Crate ever planning to add more to their shop, like merch beyond the crate, or I guess any plans to expand beyond a single crate? Ooh, that is a great question. And for that, I can only say, be sure to come to the Yaoi Crate industry panel tomorrow at FujoCon. You definitely want to come to that, because we do have some really fun announcements that you might be asking about. So we'll definitely hope to see you there. But we can't say anything yet. So come to our panel. Yeah. So which crate was the most challenging to work on? Which was the most fun? I gotta say, and I'm not just saying this, Beverly, to kiss your ass. I've loved working with Rotten Blossoms, and I think it is because we get such an intimate connection with you and with the artists, and being able to say that we're helping these artists bring their stuff over, I think is the most fun. But we've done 2 crates now, 3 crates with the May crate.
3 crates.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite one that we've done thus far?
Oh man, a favorite? I don't know. Like, I will say the most challenging one that I definitely know that one off the top of my head. It was October. It was like, you offered, we were like, okay, we can do it. And then we're like, we have 2 weeks to do this.
Yeah, we were moving real fast at the beginning.
I mean, they've all been really, really fun. I really like May's crate just because it was a lot of back and forth with the author, where like it was a collaborative idea of like, well, what merch can we make? And then she was just all like, oh, I don't know, like I've never really made many merches. And a lot of times it was me like being like, oh, maybe you should use this character for this. That'd be so cute.
Cool. So you had just as much input in the designs as probably the artist did then, yeah?
At some point, like I wouldn't say the design so much, but maybe like about what merch is inside of there.
Nice.
I mean, we have our little stowaway idea that I'm waiting for us to do one day.
We'll get there. The next slide. So Carolee is asking, how long is the pre-order for the brand new doujin, the one that's in the Yaoi Crate shop?
The pre-order will be until 6/20. Yeah. And it will like time out at midnight, probably in Yaoi Crate's time. Right?
Yep. We're in Mountain Time, so we're an hour behind Central Time. So yeah, probably about then. And then we'll switch over to so right now it's a pre-order price, and then the price will change, and we'll start accepting orders for that order after June 20th, we said, right?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So be sure to get it in now, because you get it for cheaper if you do it during the pre-order. So why are printing companies so against printing 18+ stuff? Are they worried about their reputation? Yeah, a lot of the times it is. I mean, in the conversations that we've had, it really is them just being overly cautious about, hey, we don't want, we don't want our name attached to porn, right? And so it's like, all right, fine. I mean, even getting a bank account, Beverly, I'm sure you.
Oh yeah, no.
It's ridiculous. Even if you say, oh yeah, we make adult, anime goods. They're like, did you say adult? And then boom, no bank account. Same.
And
with
the second anybody hears the word adult too, any payment processors instantly go up 4 times the price.
Mm-hmm. If they even go up at all.
Right.
Or if you can even use them. So it's a lot of logistics that both of our companies have had to go through at the beginning. But yeah, that's a big part of it. So I see Josh from Jelly's World. When is the Harky merch coming out? My wallet is ready for that boy. Yeah. Come to our industry panel tomorrow and you might just find out. So I love that.
It's a good plug, isn't it?
I know. Any plans for stories about Harky? I have been thinking about this a lot too, especially after his appearance at the end of Fairy Tale on the Cliff. We've had conversations, Beverly and I have, about
we have
Harky stuff and some stuff maybe in the works. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, if folks haven't had a chance to, and I don't know if it's still up on the website, but in one of our Yaoi crates, we did have Haruki at the back of a dojin, and it's just such a beautiful story. I love that so much. So I'm really excited about that. So fun. What is
I see Jeremy here is asking what's the favorite part about your partnership.
Yeah.
So I will say, ever since the initial DM of who is this weirdo and what does he want, Tylor and I have gotten really, really close. We actually have at least a monthly little chat just to catch up on each other.
Yeah.
Make sure we're not dying yet.
Well, because you can't go through the process that we go through, right? The very intimate back and forth conversations, brainstorming, laughing, jokes, all this stuff that comes from working on a Yaoi crate and not become good friends. I would have never met Beverly if it wasn't for Yaoi crate and us, DMing, being like, hey, so you don't know us, but let's work together and let's put together a monthly crate. Yeah, great, cool, let's do it. And now we just get to hang out all the time. So I would have to agree with that. I was going to say the exact same thing. Becoming friends with somebody who's just as passionate about getting these stories out to the rest of the world. I think that's something that, I don't know, that's something that I really like. And I will always value.
Yes. So. Friends for life, even if we don't always publish porn together.
Yeah, exactly. There it is. And I think this will probably be our last question. What kinds of goods do you really want to put in the boxes? Body pillows, figures? Whew. Yeah. I mean, that is a conversation that we are always having. How can we continue to step it up, right? Every time we send out a Yaoi crate, we ask you all for your feedback. And every review, everything that comes in, we read. And, when people were like, I want more acrylic standees. I want, more of this. Cool, we're going to do it. Well, if you get your Yaoi crate and you see something that you like or see something that you wanted, let us know in those reviews because we take them directly to heart. And we'll even bring that feedback over to, publishing partners like Rotten Blossoms and say, okay, hey, here's what
please
we're really
tell us what you like us. Maybe sometimes that'd be cool. You can talk to us. We don't bite, I promise, unless you want us to.
Hey. So yeah, we're definitely always talking about what's the next thing. How can we continue to keep the crates interesting? So if you see something, tag us on Twitter. If you see something that a Japanese company is doing, and you're like, hey, I really like these buttons that this company is doing. Can you work with them to do something like that? Let us know, and we'll be able to see if we can make it happen. So yeah. All right. I think that is everything, Beverly.
That's like perfect timing. I'm amazed.
Yeah. Here we are. So, both of our company's websites are on the screen right now. You can follow us both on social media. Beverly, it's just at Rotten Blossoms for you, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's at rotten_blossoms.
Rotten_blossoms. And then Yaoi Crate is just at Yaoi Crate. So hopefully we can see you all enjoy the rest of FujoCon 2021. And we are so thankful for everybody attending. And we'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you.
Bye.